Hello everyone, it's Shanna. Welcome to my channel. So glad you stopped by. This evening I wanted to make a fall or a Halloweeny looking card, and so I don't really have a lot of different stamps for that, so I'm bringing in Spellbinder's Fall Gnome clear stamp and die set from September of 2022. So I'm just bringing in my two gnomes, the large and the small, along with all of the pumpkins that are included in the set and the coffee and the pumpkin pie. I thought I would stamp all of these out with some Memento black ink and then do some coloring. So I'm just getting them all lined up and I'm going to stamp them down and then we'll get our coloring. So while I was working on this card, I was actually watching Gina K on the Simon Says release party that they had at 8 p.m. this evening. So I was watching it and just kind of playing with this card as it went along. She did a beautiful, beautiful card with red, and I really liked it. So I just pushed the foot down there, and I was happy with just one stamping. So I love when that happens. That Memento ink is a new ink pad, so it's pretty juicy. So now I'm just bringing in some polka dot pattern paper, and this is called Seeing Dots cardstock from Color Bock, and I'm kind of laid it there because it's going to be my theme for my colors for my coloring. Now I show you the markers here, and I've sped it up quite a bit. I don't have Copic markers, so the numbers on those markers probably don't mean anything to you, but I wanted you to kind of see the color scheme that I was going with. So I'm starting with my lightest color, going to my medium color, and then I'll be going to my darkest purple color, and then I'll go back again with my lighter color just so that I can get a real good blend on it. I'm not an expert colorist by any means, but I'm trying to get some practice, and I really enjoy it. I think it's fun. I'm just bringing in my black here and then a couple of gray. I think a warm gray and a cool gray is what I'm doing, just to show a little bit of dimension there. And then I'm just taking the cool gray along the beard and just giving a little bit of shadow, and then coloring my shoes in with the black and the gray combination. Then just getting his little hands and his little nose colored up. And I went with one color I didn't like, so I brought back in another color, and I think I'm happy with that. And now I'm going to make my other little gnome kind of my orange. So my theme here is kind of black, purple, and orange. And that's kind of, I guess, my Halloween colors, so to speak. Don't like making scary cards, but I like making cute cards. So that's what I'm choosing to do this evening. Just getting my coloring in. And I just put a couple of black polka dots on his shoes. And then I'm doing the same gray shading on his beard. And same thing with the little nose and little hands that I did. I'm going to color in my piece of pumpkin pie and my stems with just a brown, and then bring in some orange tones to color my coffee cup, my pumpkin, and then my pumpkin pie. So I'm just getting that all colored in. So I was able to get out and take a nice bike ride this evening, but I didn't go as far as I normally did. I only did a little over 3 miles because the sky looked pretty ominous, and I was afraid it was going to just bust loose on me while I was out on my bike. So I shortened it up a little bit, and I came home and got in my craft room and enough time to watch Gina K. And we did have quite a little downpour of rain, so I did miss a storm. I'm glad I did shorten that ride. So my first pumpkin I just colored with 3 purples, and then the second one I'm kind of doing that black gray blending color scheme again too, just to kind of bring in some black again into my card. And then that littlest one I'm going to do the purple scheme again, just trying to keep the colors pretty basic and just using the same 3 colors on all of it for the most part. And then fortunately this little stamp set has got a coordinating die, so there was no fussy cutting this evening. I was really, really happy with that because fussy cutting is not my favorite thing. But these dies are wonderful. I love Spellbinder's dies. They always come already clipped apart, and they're just really great dies. So I'm just taking it to my die cutting machine, popping it out, and preparing it to get it laid down on my card base. picking I had some tape on there from running. I had them taped down, running it through my die cutting, so I was picking some of that off. Now I'm just getting my panel scored up, just 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Just going to be a side folding quarter using my score buddy. I like to always line the edge up. It helps me to get a straighter line on the edges. And then I'm just going to start assembling the card. So I'm just going to lay my purple polka dot pattern card down for my base, and it's just 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, so it's going to cover the whole white card base. And then we'll begin layering our black panel on it. Now the black panel that I'm going to use is a postage stamp type panel. It's an inexpensive one that I was able to pick up off of Amazon. I got some of those, so I'm just bringing it in. And I have kind of sped up this whole process just a tad. I think this is 1 1/2 times. The video is pretty long until I was able to edit and speed it up a little bit. And I think you can still kind of get the feel for what I'm doing there. Just trying to get it better lined up, a little bit crooked. I could kind of use those polka dots as a line. Picking off some more tape. When I use that pink tape, sometimes run it through the die cutting machine and it sticks on there, but it pulls off pretty easy. Now I'm just trying to figure out how am I going to place these gnomes on here and just get everything to fit. So I've decided to go ahead and pop them up. I started to use that tape, and then I decided to go just get a foam square and use my dies and cut those out, and that way I'd have a good solid base for popping up both of my gnomes. So just getting some glue laid down. Now this foam is just fun foam that I got at Walmart. It has one side adhesive on it and not on the other, so I'm just getting it glued down, but I will add some glue to the adhesive back as well just to make sure that it stays down. So I'm going to just set my little pressing tool on top of it just to give it a little bit of weight while I do my other little gnome. So today was library day. It was the first time back to the library since school started. We did the summer program, and then they took a month off, and now we're back and running. So we did have fun. I took the boys to that. We had fun at that. They do a lot of singing, read a couple, 3 books, and just have some fun playing. Lots of kids go, and the boys have a good time getting to be around other kids. So I try to take them every week. So we did that, and then we once that was done, we decided that we were going to go to lunch with Aunt Stacy. So we went. I loaded the boys up and headed over there, and in the meantime, as we're driving over, they both are exhausted, so they fall asleep in the car. So my sister had to help me carry them inside, and the youngest one woke up and was able to eat lunch with us, but the oldest one was so wiped out he just slept through lunch. So we loaded him back up, put him in the car. They were just exhausted. They are still trying to catch up from the long weekend in which they were on vacation at the beach, so they're still pretty tired. So I'm finally figuring out how I want to arrange these gnomes. I'm going to tuck the littlest one behind the pumpkin so that I can have room for everything on my little card base here. So I'm just going to lift it up and tuck him in behind there. And then I'm going to put that little tiniest pumpkin, I'm just going to glue it flat right on that black raised pumpkin and let it hang over the edge a little bit. Pulling the adhesive off of this and just getting it glued up so I can get this laid down on my card base. We're almost finished with this card. I've just got to get that laid down and then decide if I'm going to add my coffee cup and my pumpkin pie. So I've decided the scale of it needs to go on the big pumpkin. I was thinking about having, or the big gnome, I was thinking about having one of the gnomes hold the coffee cup and then the other one hold the piece of pie, but the scale just isn't, it's just not there for the little guy, so I'm going to put it in the big guy's hand. So he's got both the coffee and the pumpkin pie in his hands. And then as I'm looking at it, I'm thinking the top of the card is pretty plain, and I thought a moon would be nice, but I didn't have a moon die. So I just took the circle die and die cut it out, and then I just took it again and laid it up against it to try and create a crescent moon, and just taped that down and took it over to my die cutting machine and die cut it out so that I would actually have a moon that I could use. So it worked out pretty well. I wasn't sure, but I was able to pull that off and just create a crescent moon for my card. Then I decided it was a little bit stark for my card, so I decided to just bring my Memento black ink pad in and just touch the edges to it. that wasn't exactly perfect. So I brought the gray, the warm gray, and then the cool gray in, and just kind of went across the edges and darkened it a little bit. And then I think ultimately I decided to bring the black pen in and go over it again. And then I decide from there that I'm going to go ahead and bring that lightest purple color in and just color that moon in and just have kind of a purple moon. So that's what I do. And then I'm just going to pop it up with a little bit of foam tape. And then I decide for a sentiment that I'm going to bring in the fall banner that is included with this set. So I'm just going to stamp it down real quick. And I'm going to color it with just my purple, my lightest purple, and then my lightest orange, and just in alternating letters. And then just take it to my die cutting machine, get it die cut out, and then add it to my card as the final element. And I think this turned out really cute. I like the polka dots, and I like the purple. I think the purple blended okay. Like I said, I'm not the best colorist, but I think it turned out all right. I think it's a cute card, and it is a different way to use this stamp and die set that I've used before. I like using my old materials. Hope you liked it. If you do, consider giving me a thumbs up. Have a great day. Bye-bye.